All right, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, time for another work day hauling water. Figured I'd start this one in the backyard just to give you a little different look. If I did it out front by the Jeep, I already have it warming up, so it would happen like what happened last week when I had no audio. But today's going to be a interesting-ish day, depending on the weather and everything else. But they're supposed to get some snow and some freezing rain and mixed rain and snow. It hasn't started yet. But sometime today it's going to, and it's going to make things interesting. And I have 2 down to Fogelsville to start, and then I have 1 down to Lansdale, and then finish up with 1 to Allentown, if we can get them. Depends on the weather and how it slows down our driving. But we're going to get heading off to work here in a few minutes and stick the cameras in the truck and do the best we can to get you a cool and interesting video today. Alright, so we're in the truck letting it warm up. We already did our pre-trip. The cap is frozen on right now, so I don't know if I'm going to have to torch it or just hammer it off when I get to the well. It says it's 33 degrees, but the truck holds a little bit of heat when you're idling, so it's probably about 28. That's what it was on the Jeep coming down here. So it's not as brutally cold as it was yesterday morning, which was 3 when I got here. So it's definitely a lot warmer, and it's supposed to go above freezing, but I'll have to see what kind of precipitation falls and if the roads get white or if they just stay wet. Going to be an interesting day, but we got to wait a few minutes before we can go. We're not supposed to leave until our appointed time, which is 9 a.m. and it is 8:55 right now. So I got to wait a few minutes and then we can roll on out and get that first one. Getting it up there at the Tamaqua location. 2 from there down to Fogelsville, then 1 from the well in the woods down to the Lansdale area, and then 1 from Red Barn to Allentown. All depends on how the Fogelsville plant's running and how the weather plays out today as to whether we get all of them or not. But we will see. We're going to get rolling here in a few minutes. So I was going to wait to turn the camera on, but something interesting happened between when I came in this road with my Jeep and now going out. PennDOT sprayed some brine on it. I can see the wet lines down the middle of the lane here, so they must be anticipating it freezing at the onset whenever it decides to start, if they sprayed. And usually here in Schuylkill County they don't spray, and they don't do a lot of brining. That's up to each individual county, and some do and some don't. And Schuylkill usually doesn't, but it appears today they did, and we'll have to see if they did it out on 309 as well. So we'll talk to you once we get out there and see if they brined that one too. So 309 is dry. They did not spray any brine out here on the main thoroughfare. They sprayed it on that back road. Not sure the logic of that, but who knows? One of the criticisms of PennDOT is not pre-treating the roads, but they get criticism on both ends of it. Some people hate that brine because it corrodes the undercarriages of vehicles, but then if they don't spray it and the snow and the ice stick to the road right away and they lost the upper hand, then everybody complains that they didn't pre-treat. So they can't win either way. Alright, so we're loaded and rolling, and I don't know if you can see it, but we got spots on the window. It is kind of a sleet rain mixture. There is no snow really in it yet. According to the truck, temperature is 32 degrees, so don't know what's going to happen to the roads now that the precipitation started, if they're going to ice up or if they're going to stay wet. I wish they would have pre-treated 309, because that would have helped it a little bit to not freeze instantly, but it is borderline. Now the temperature dropped to 31 on the truck, so it is definitely borderline. I don't know if the sun is up high enough that any solar radiation will keep the streets from getting icy or not. Like you saw in that last snow video, it was like 32 degrees, 31 degrees, but because it was mid-afternoon, solar radiation still gets through the clouds, so it was keeping the roadways wet. So I don't know what's going to happen today. It'd be interesting to see. Yeah, I don't know if the camera's doing it justice, but we're still under the gray overcast, but the further south we go, the more orange that sky gets down there. So there must be some breaks in that overcast, either down in Fogelsville, Allentown, or maybe further south, but quite a yellowish orange hue down there ahead of us. It'd be nice if this would just bypass us by and not even drop any rain or snow. But looking at radar this morning, it looked like there was a pretty good slug coming at us, so I don't think we're going to stay dry all day long. This guy in front of us is Dart. The flatbed went straight down towards Schnecksville. This guy was moving along pretty good, but now he kind of backed off a little bit. I don't know if he's afraid of the curves or what. Yeah, I'm almost wondering if the sun won't kind of be out when we get down there to the plant. That'd be something. Alright, so we're down here unloading. There were two here. One left, one's still here unloading. I was able to unload right away. Lights are on, silos aren't full. Another truck just came and he's going to be backing on, so we're not going to talk to you too long because we don't want to get caught recording. I'll just have to fib and tell him I'm taking a selfie for Facebook like I did that time our driver caught me at the Red Barn. But yeah, we're unloading. So far so good. Everything going the way it's supposed to be going. Knock on wood. All right, so made quick work unloading down there, and now I'm trying to get back in a timely manner to get loading before the other driver comes back in again. If we can time it out right, he pulls an 8, I pull a 6. If we can time it out right, I can get up there and get loaded and kind of get out of there before he gets there, or about the time he gets there. That'd be nice, because then he won't be delayed. But it takes him 10 minutes longer to unload than it does me. So I'm hoping that 10 minutes plus the light traffic that we have right now will work to my advantage, and I can be almost done before he gets back up there to get his load. And hopefully the well held, because a third truck had come in after we had left. So we will see. But we're moving right along. It's kind of bright out for a cloudy day. It's kind of bright out right now, so not a real high, thick cloud deck. You actually see the sun through it. So, and that's good, because it will just probably bump temperatures up a degree or two, maybe from what they were forecasting. And right now it shows me at 36. So we are above freezing, so pretty much anything that would fall down here will be of the liquid variety and not freezing, so that'll be a good thing if we can pull it off. Not that I have any control over the weather, but it just would be nice if we got up above freezing almost region-wide before that precipitation comes in. All right, so we made it back here. We're loading up the second one. The sleet and rain that was starting to fall up here when we got here on the first load has stopped. It's dry right now. I'm gonna look at radar and see. That's my lift axle dropping, in case you wonder what that sound was. Once it gets to a certain weight, the lift axle automatically drops. But we're loading up here. We should be able to get done about the time the next driver comes back up, so we won't hold him up and we'll be on our way. Little change of plans though now. We are going to do Allentown for our third load and Lansdale for our fourth load. I guess they're running a little behind down there, so we kind of swapped the third and the fourth loads, which may or may not be a good thing. It may put me deeper in the rush hour, but at least won't be at the time that school's letting out. So we'll see how it works. Well, that worked out pretty good. Just as I was unhooking the hose, he was coming up the road, so didn't hold him up at all. We got in and out of there in perfect time. All I had to do was drain the hose and set it off to the side. He'll hook up and then he'll load up his load. So couldn't have asked for better. I don't like holding up the other drivers. I mean, it happens. You know, we all go to different locations and different timing, and somebody gets all green lights and somebody gets all red lights, and you just can't always stay in proper sequence. But when it works out like that, it's pretty good. And then I'll get down there and I'll start unloading, and he'll probably get there just about when I'm almost done, and so forth and so on. But we won't be in each other's way after that, because I don't know if he's done after this load or if he has another one. But I've got to go to the Red Barn location because I'm going to take one over to Allentown. Unless he's going there for one reason or another, we won't be in each other's way. I don't know who else is running out of there, who we might get stuck behind or in front of, but I don't know that he'll be over there. Oh, look at this. Sweet. Sweet. Light turned green just as we got to the intersection. It doesn't get any better than that. All right, we're here for our second one. Let's see what we got down here. I see one truck on the pad. Others? Nope, just the one. That's good. That means the lights should be on. That means we should be able to get right on here and unload. Put the four ways on in here, the busiest place. I believe the light, I don't know if the lights are on. I got a feeling we may have to wait till that guy's done unloading. Some of them are dim and you can't see them until you get right up to them, but it's kind of cloudy and overcast and they didn't look like they were on. So I don't know. We'll find out when we back on. Boy, it is so nice to actually be able to turn this truck, unlike that Kenworth where I would have had to back up if I tried to do that. So we'll just take the one closest to the fence here. One pump is down long term because somebody backed into it. Smashed the daylights out of it, and I guess they can't get parts for it right now. So we're down to 3 active pumps here instead of 4. Wiggly here. There we go. Now we're in the right spot in the lane. And we're in. And the lights are indeed out, so we're gonna have to wait for the other guy to finish up before we can start. But they should come on right away because that light to the far right is actually on while he's unloading. So as soon as his pump shuts down, I'll be able to start mine. Yeah, so somebody misjudged on that one. Back when I was with the other carrier there in the 4 months that I was gone, somebody misjudged and backed right into that puppy and pushed the motor right off its mounts, flattened the hose and everything else. So she's out of commission for a while till they can get parts for it to rebuild it. But that other driver left, and as I had said, as soon as his pump shut down, I was able to start mine up. So we're unloading right now and just kicked in the high gear. Like I told you, they do inline testing here, so it draws a little bit of water in and tests it, and if all is good, then it kicks in the high gear and I'll unload the truck. So 20 minutes, we'll be out of here. All right, making our way up the Blue Mountain here to go to the Red Barn location to load for Allentown, and I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it has just started snowing. It was 44 degrees down there in Fogelsville. Up here it's 35. We gotta grab this load, and I'm not sure which way I'm gonna take it yet. I have to look at see what 22 is gonna be like. If 22 is jammed up, we'll go across the top 248. If 22 is not jammed up yet, then we'll go down that way. But hopefully it doesn't start sticking on this mountain. Hopefully that temperature stays above freezing. And then the fourth load is going to be real interesting, and I will tell you about that while we're loading. Oh boy, we just went into pretty heavy-ish snow. It just started snowing as I started coming up the mountain, and now we're on the Schuylkill County side, and now it's coming down pretty good. Hopefully the rate doesn't overcome the warm road. Oh boy, this is going to be a great afternoon. All right, let's see if anybody's here, or if we can at least start loading right away. Because look at this, is all getting white here. Oh, somebody's here. Our owner-operator, but he's here. I guess we'll go in and talk to him. He does know about these videos, so if he sees me filming, it's not a big deal, but now I gotta wait on this. This is gonna be one long day when I explain to you what's gonna happen after we do Allentown. So, as you can see, we're getting pretty good snow here, and the big fat flakes that are falling. We're loading now. That guy was 1,000 gallons from being finished, so we didn't have to wait too long for him, but we are getting some fat flakage, and basically the roads have gotten covered with snow already, as you can see. I don't know what the main road's going to be like, but this road here is completely white. The parking lot is white, so I don't know what's going to happen, but we got to take this load over to Allentown. Looks like going over the mountain is going to be the best way to go, because once I get on the other side of the mountain, it's raining. Snowing here, raining over there. If I stay up here and run across 895 over to Palmerton, I'm going to be in the snow all the way over there, and possibly, well, at least until I go through the Lehigh Gap, and then might get in the rain on 248. But 22 doesn't look like it's jammed up yet, so maybe best to get out of the snow as quickly as possible, as long as we can make that turn and pull the mountain without slipping and sliding. Hopefully they got the salt trucks out there and threw some salt down already, but I got more to talk to you about, but I want to eat part of my lunch, and maybe while we're rolling, I'll talk to you about what's going to happen with the Lansdale deliveries. It's not going to be fun, that's for sure. Well, the flakes got finer, but they got heavier. We're almost in a heavy snow event right now. The finer flakes mean it's actually getting colder, so hopefully 309 out there is just wet and we can make that turn. If not, we're going to take 248, because turning left goes downhill, turning right goes uphill. So I don't know, we'll see when we get out of here, but we got a low rate, so we're going to be here for a while, which means the snow is going to pile up while we're sitting here loading. Going to be fun. Well, I thought that with the precipitation being delayed, that it would warm up enough that it would be more rain than snow. And they had said that it was going to be more rain than snow. Maybe some mixed snow, but mostly rain. And look at this mess. I'm not sure which way to go. I really would like to get over the mountain and down into Allentown where it's a little bit warmer, but I may not be able to make that right turn and pull the hill unless it's just wet down there. We're going to have to wait and see. This road is just kind of slushy. Now, hopefully, in the time it took me to load, a PennDOT truck had gone up and down that mountain and salted it so that we can get over it. It said it was 44 down in Allentown, and it is 32 here. Now, the leftover salt is kind of helping on this road a little bit, as you can see. It's kind of melting in places and just slushy. But, no, they're salting this road already. This is going to be fun. Yeah, see, he's putting salt down on here already. We have to see what it looks like. I'm hoping 309 is just wet down here and I can make the right turn, because going 895, I don't know what that's going to be like either. Until we get through the Lehigh Gap and onto the Allentown side of the Blue Mountain, it could be like this. And then even if 248 snow covered, that's got some nasty hills right there coming out of the gap. There's a good one to pull. So I don't know. Well, I said today was going to be an interesting video. And we may not get back in time for our night shift partner if I have to go down to Lansdale. Well, it looks slushy, but it looks doable. And hopefully it's just wet in the valley. This is still going to be a fun turn. I might slip and slide a little bit here. I really would like to try and get over this mountain. Now somebody's coming. Hopefully I can get going here. The only good thing is that maybe some people are going slow. All right, we got traction. We got traction. Not too bad yet, and I just have to stay easy on the throttle. We just take her easy going up. Try not to break traction. And hope nobody else breaks traction. I see somebody with 4-ways on up there. Maybe I should drop it into manual mode and just keep my RPMs where they my RPMs going, don't let it shift, don't let it break traction, just keep a steady foot. That's the way to get up a snowy hill. I don't know what this guy's doing up here. Out? I don't know what he's doing. No, I don't think so. All right. Well, we'll talk to you later on the other side. Hopefully, we get out of this mess. All right, well, we're down off the Blue, and you can see it's even down here on the Lehigh County side, the roads are starting to get covered. Salt truck just went northbound, but if this don't taper off or change over to rain, I already talked to the boss, and we may nix that 4th load if it's too slick. Like I said, generally, if we're willing to run, they won't stop us, but a lot of times when it's snowy and icy, they'd rather not lose a truck or injure somebody in an accident. The load just gets delivered later. So I don't know if the temperature is going to keep dropping now that this precipitation started, but obviously it dropped on this side of the mountain because it was in the 40s over here, and now you see the snow is actually laying on this road too. So we'll see what it's like when we come back northbound, but as of right now, we might just finish up with this Allentown, because if I try to do another one running slow, I'm not going to get back for the night shift driver in time, and then she's going to lose a load. Somebody's going to lose a load, and I'd rather it be me because it's my shift. She shouldn't have to pay the price and lose money because of something that happened on my shift. So we will see, but yeah, this is what we got right now. So we'll talk to you later on, show you if it gets better the closer we get to 22 or down there on 22, but we got to watch it because it's pretty slick. All right, well, we made it down here to 22 and 78. It is about 3/4 snow, maybe 1/4 rain, and you can see that the roads are just kind of wet here and they're not white, so it's a little bit better down here than it was up there. From Tillman Street on north, we were slushy to white, and once I got south of Tillman Street, then it became just wet. So a little bit warmer down here, but temperature dropped from 44 down to 36. So once the precipitation came in, the air cooled. So that's where we're at. It's starting to get white in the grassy areas, but the road is just wet down here. But when we head back up, going over to blue, it's gonna be white again. So as of right now, I'm leaning more towards not running that Lansdale down. They don't need it anyway, because what's gonna happen is they're gonna have 3 loaded trailers down there, and the guy that goes down tomorrow is probably gonna have to bobtail down because he wouldn't have a empty. Right now, he will have an empty down there. He'll still have to bobtail down, but he'll have an empty. He won't have to sit and wait for one to be emptied out. So it may work out better if I don't run that load down. Hard to say, but like I said, right down here, it's just basically a white rain. The grass is getting white, but the roads are staying wet. And you know my routine when I'm on 2278 down here with all these get-on ramps and get-off ramps. I usually just ride this left lane through and stay out of the conflict zone. That way people can merge on the freeway without me having to stand on the brake or them having to stand on the brake. But it looks like we are going to get on some brake anyway. I see brake lights up ahead here. So a lot of things can go wrong if I run that Lansdale down. I will get back too late for a night shift driver to get out. And then the other driver that usually runs down the Lansdale will have a problem with not having an empty if I take a third loaded one down. So that's the way it's looking right now. Unless things change, I'm probably going to call it after this Allentown delivery. But here we are in traffic, but at least I got down here into the warmer part of the storm. You saw the snow and ice up there on the northern side of the Blue Mountain. If I would have stayed up there and ran 895 to 248, I'd have been in worse roads than sitting down here in traffic on 22. All right, well, we are just about here. I'm gonna make a right here. And probably about a quarter, half a mile maybe, and then we'll be at the plant. Oh yeah, turned into an interesting day. It was not really supposed to snow much down here. It was supposed to be more rain. Snow was supposed to be up our way, and then even that was supposed to transition to rain, but it seems like the system is just a little bit colder than what was forecast. Came in a lot later than what it was for. First, it was supposed to come in early in the morning, like around daybreak, and then they said around 11 o'clock, and I think I told you by radar it looked like it was going to be around 1 or so that it would start, and that was about what time it started. And it's been snow ever since. So I don't know, and like I said, the temperature has been dropping even down here. It was 37 when we were out in Trexlertown, and now it's down to 34. Things are going to start getting white here. I see it in the parking lot a little bit. There's some spots that are starting to accumulate. Some spots that have that dull look of a slush accumulation that's starting. So and then once they start to accumulate, then it usually goes pretty quick unless the temperature rises back up quick. Now let's see if I remember exactly where to stop here so that I can get posed to the truck. It's been a little bit since I've been here. I had it figured out, but we'll see how good I am. I won't show you because the camera will get wet, but I will let you know. Watch the mirror here, and there was a spot up here. Where did I usually? I think right about there. We'll see how good I am. All right, so just in the time it took us to hook up, get going, and go in and give them our paperwork, you can see that this driveway is going from wet to slush, which means maybe even by the time we're done unloading, it will go from slush to white. So the temperature is dropping and the snow is still coming down hard. All right, so I did nail the spot. We are hooked up and we're unloading. We had to get a sample and get our paperwork signed and all that stuff, but we're hooked up, we're unloading, and I'm getting wet and I'm getting white, so I'm not gonna talk to you much longer, but it takes a half hour to unload here, and then we'll be heading back up, and we'll have to wait and see what the road conditions are like. They're probably still wet down here for the most part, but once we get north of Tillman Street, all bets are off. It might be a whole different world, and it probably is a whole different world on and over the mountain. So I'm actually kind of contemplating going up the turnpike to get back to the shop. So I'm going to call one of our drivers and see what he says about the mountain and its current condition. So, all right, we'll talk to you later on. All right. So, as you can see, spots in this parking lot are starting to get white. So, the rate of snowfall plus the lowering temperatures has made it start to accumulate a little bit down here in colder areas. I guess where trees block the solar radiation of the sunlight from hitting the street. So, probably the roads themselves down here aren't really that bad just yet, but they will start to get that bad once this sun starts going down. It's 4 o'clock right now, so yeah, this street's starting to get slushy. If you look, that truck that just went up there, you can see his tire tracks in the slush. So this street is starting to accumulate as well. So interesting night. I did tell you it was supposed to snow down. Well, not down here so much. This was supposed to be mostly rain down here. Actually, you see here, the street's actually getting white. It's going beyond the slush stage and starting to actually get white. So, yeah, temperatures are already, we're losing that solar radiation being 4 o'clock. So, they're starting to cave and starting to get just a little cooler, and the snow is starting to accumulate on them. So, and being 4 o'clock, till I would get to the well that I would have to load at to get to Lansdale, I would not get there until probably 5 o'clock. And it takes a half hour to load. That would get me out of there at 5:30, and I have to have the truck back by 8:30 for the night shift driver. And who knows how slow the traveling is going to be. And I would not get back in time for her, so we are not going to go down to Lansdale with that load. Like I said, we already cleared it with dispatch. It was not a problem either way, whether I took it or didn't take it, so we're not going to take it. But it is coming down hard, and big flakes. Now, if the salt crews were out, the roads will be in somewhat decent shape. However, that doesn't mean traffic is going to do 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. It's going to be a little bit on the slow side. So, yeah, we would just, like I said, we might not get back till 9 or even 10 o'clock tonight if I try to run that load down there. And it is rush hour too, which doesn't help. So, but we're working on getting out of this industrial park. That load is delivered, and we're making our way back. It could take us an hour just to get back to the Blue Mountain. I have no idea what the road conditions are like. Even if they salt them at this rate, if they don't come back anytime soon, then they'll start to accumulate again. You know, you don't know. We're not going to fly. We are not going to go rip snorting back up there to try and beat the clock. Not in this kind of weather. That's not safe. It's not smart, and we're not going to do it. So, well, now this is interesting. This is the get-off lane for 100 North Fogelsville. It is never, ever stopped dead like this. Usually you can free roll pretty much 60 miles an hour right up to where the ramp is, where it splits off from the freeway, and then slow down accordingly for the curve. I have never seen it backed up like this at any time of day, so I don't know if there's some kind of accident up there on 100 or on the ramp or what. But this is kind of an interesting development that I wasn't expecting. I knew 22 would be slow from Airport Road over to 7th Street, and then once we got past 7th and 15th Streets, we started to roll at a pretty decent clip, almost speed limit. And but now here we are, sitting here waiting to get off at 78 onto 100 North. Well, it wasn't any kind of an accident or anything. It's just rush hour traffic. It is 4:30, and it's just rush hour traffic. I just never saw that ramp that backed up. Whether I was on it or coming up 100 here, I'd never seen that ramp that kind of jammed up. But there's no accident here. It's just rush hour traffic. All right, so we went past New Tripoli, Northwestern Lehigh High School, and we've had a pretty uneventful ride up here, other than the fact that the average speed has only been about 40 miles an hour, where it should be 55 through most of here, because other than there in New Tripoli where it's 45, the speed limit's 55 everywhere, but we've been holding right around 40, give or take, all the way up from I-78 there in Fogelsville, just the way it is. It's mostly wet, but slushy in spots and slushy on the shoulders, and everybody just taking their time, nobody really being stupid or anything like that. So it hasn't been too bad. Haven't seen any problems yet, although we're not on the mountain yet. We're south of the mountain. I think once we get up on the mountain, it'll look a little bit different, because it was probably colder up there. Well, as it was, I mean, it was snowing on the other side and not snowing as much here when we first went down. So, but it all evened out. But there may be more snow and more tricky spots up there once we get up top of the mountain and over the other side towards the shop and where we get fuel. And I'm going to top fuel off for our night driver so that she's good to go. Snow has tapered off just a little bit. It's not nearly as heavy as it was before, and that's probably helping. If it was snowing as hard as it was earlier, these roads would probably just whiten right back up. So actually, that southbound lane doesn't look quite as good as this northbound lane does. We must not be too far behind the salt truck. Alright, so we are climbing up the Blue Mountain. Let's see how these road conditions are. We're just holding our own here at about 45 miles an hour. passing lane does not look like it's in any worse shape than the driving lane, but now I see the headlights. There's slush over there. There's slush on this lane too, so I think we'll just ride it up at this speed behind this truck that's in front of us and just take her easy and play her safe, because as we go up in elevation, sometimes it gets a degree or two colder, and then that hammer lane goes from wet to white real quick and catch you off guard. So I think we'll just roll with this speed and keep a nice safe distance from the guy in front of us. 45 is plenty good on a road that could change direction right quick. Not to mention, it looks like it's getting foggy up here. It's still snowing, but it also looks like it's getting foggy up here. There's going to be a few four-wheelers that are going to come up this hammer lane and pass. I can see it already. Maybe, maybe not. There's one that's riding behind me. He's not doing any different than we are. Although now this guy's braking hard. Why is he braking hard? Why are you braking hard? I thought about jumping out, but I don't want to be a moron here, but he broke real hard. Maybe we will pass him. I don't know what the deal was there, but no, there's a four-wheeler here that's a little bit scared. Big truck decided to pass that four-wheeler too. Well, he tried to. He was going to, but it doesn't look like he made it. But oh yeah, the fog is getting thicker up here now. We're just about up to the top. Doesn't seem to be too bad, but still bad enough. You can't see where the lines are now because of the slush. Now let's see which county did a better job, Lehigh County or Schuylkill County. But I think we're going to slow crawl down this side too, and probably rightfully so. It doesn't really look that good. And I mean, I shouldn't say it doesn't look that good. It looks like it's down to bare pavement, but visibility's bad and it could be slick, so. All right, so we are coming down the Schuylkill County side of the Blue Mountain, is what I showed you before when we took this load down to Allentown, and it was all white and snow covered. So it looks like it's in better shape than it was then, but I can still see slushy spots, especially that hammer lane there going southbound looks kind of slushy. Camera probably isn't going to show it too well, but it looks like it's slushy. I know the shoulder is. Now, yeah, yep, that four-wheeler passing that other four-wheeler, but you can see the slush in that hammer lane. So temperature 33, 1 degree above freezing. So that's probably helping with the salt trucks, but it's 5 o'clock already, and we aren't even anywhere near that other well location. So till I would go in there and load and get back out, and that's if I didn't have to wait for a truck back there that was actually loading. There's no way we would get back tonight in time for our night shift driver. It just wouldn't happen. Because it's been a slow roll mostly since we got off, well, actually all the way from the airport, but it's been a slow roll up 100 and 309. We've basically only done about 40, 45 the entire way, so everything is going to slow that trip down. It's, you know, so we are not going to run it down tonight. Well, we're gonna stop down here and we're gonna top off with fuel. Get back to the yard, top off the DEF, and then she'll be good to go tonight. All she'll have to worry about is getting her loads and delivering her loads. And hopefully the temperature doesn't start to tumble and this stuff freezes back up. I forgot to look up our other spring road to see if it was snow covered or wet. But the snow tapered off, the visibility has increased. It might have eaten, well, it didn't stop. I can still see it in headlights. Looks like there's a salt truck there coming out 895. Yep. Now we're gonna turn into the gas station here and get us some go-go juice. The mirrors are dirty. I have to try and clean them when I get back to the shop. Probably all full of salt. All right, we'll talk to you later. All right, we got enough to slide our card here and do what we need to do. Rewards first. Nope. And they'll turn the pump on for us. They know the trucks. I don't need to go in. Actually, I don't need to go in at all because I use my card here. If I need more than what's allowed to get and I have to go inside to pay, they'll still turn the pump on because they know the trucks. So we got to fuel that side up first. Single pump setup, so we got to do it this way. It shouldn't take more. I mean, I had 3/4 of a tank. I probably didn't need to top it off, but I just like to top off end of my shift. That way, the driver that follows me has full tanks. See, it isn't going to take much at all. Probably she could have got away with her shift, and then she'll fuel for me too. So it's kind of like she probably could have done her shift and had plenty, and wouldn't have been a problem. I mean, I gotta try and clean those mirrors just a little bit if I can. And the headlights, LED lights, they don't melt snow. Actually, I don't know how good that's gonna do. That may have made them worse. I may have to get the window cleaner out. I don't know. And normally I don't have to worry about somebody pulling in here. I don't know if he saw my camera on my hat or not. But normally nobody comes in here when I'm fueling. All right, it took 32 gallons. At least she's full. All right, doing a little bit of nighttime snow driving. You got the high beams on, so I don't know if the camera would pick it up any of the snowflakes falling, but this road is not quite as good as what 309 and 100 were. And this is what I was kind of concerned about coming across the top instead of coming back on 22 was what in particular this road was going to be like coming back over from Bowmanstown. It's, you know, there's more snow on here than there was on 309 for sure. Not terrible yet, and it's certainly drivable, and if I would have had the hours, if it were earlier in the day, or if I didn't have a night shift partner to get the truck back for, then it wouldn't have been such a big deal running down there. I probably could have done it, but, you know, we're set up on 12-hour shifts, and so we each started opposite ends of the clock, so you kind of got to be back for the other shift driver. Sometimes things go sideways, you know, like if there would have been a major crash somewhere and I'd be stuck out, that can't be helped. But to drive myself into getting back past her start time, I just don't think that's right. We don't have a lot of spare trucks, and she doesn't, I don't believe, I think she has an automatic restriction. I'm not sure. She can drive a manual, but I don't know if she can do it legally on her license. So, and we don't have the spare trucks anyway. You just can't hop in another truck because you may be taking somebody else's truck that comes on shift in an hour or two. So it's kind of, you know, you should get back for your partner. That's all I gotta say. You really should get back for your partner. They shouldn't have to wait an hour or two to start their shift. So. All right, we are parked. We are done. We got the fuel. We got the DEF. Tanks are all filled up. She is good to go when she gets here. I usually get here at 8:30 in the morning and roll somewhere between 8:45 and 9 o'clock. She does the same thing on her PM shift. That's her scheduled start time. It is 5:45 right now. Yes, I drove into where our yard is, but if I would have went out to the well and loaded, it would have taken me 25 minutes to load out there, and that's if I could have been first in line. If I had to wait on anybody out there to load, then it would have taken even longer. And excuse me. So then I might not have gotten out of the well until after 6 o'clock. And it takes probably, under normal conditions, like an hour to hour and a half, hour and three-quarter to get down there to Lansdale with the loaded trailer. A little less coming back up. So probably a 3-hour turn. So if I would have got out of there at 6 or 6:15, it would have been 9:15, and that's normal. Like I said, the average speed coming up 100 and 309 with the slushy wet roads was 40 miles an hour instead of 55. So everything was slowed down. So it would have taken even longer. So I am wondering if I wouldn't have got back closer to 10 o'clock, which would have put her over an hour behind her start time. So this way she can start on time and all that stuff. So anyway, this is it. And hopefully I'll be able to do another video for you this week. But if not, then we'll talk to you in the next one.